Welcome back to the Allegedly Podcast, a Murder Cherry Fantasy Football production with
Ink spot from the 307.
ah,
Yeah.
and T.O. And we're here with the second half of our fantasy football draft recap. So pick 6 through 10 is what we're going to be looking at here on the second half of this video. So starting with the second half, we have Cardinal Lumber, Coach Darnell and his crew. So I'll show y'all his team. We'll give a couple of comments on what we have going on over there at Cardinal Lumber, representing Wide Street Patterson. So Cardinal Lumber came out with the six pick in the draft. He was the last team in the playoffs last year, and that was an interesting spot with three teams with the same record, and him being the team that got pushed over the top to well, it was him and another team that got pushed over the top to be in the playoffs. So what y'all think about his team? His first pick, if I do remember correctly, would have been King Henry at pick 6.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. One I didn't think he would get at 6, but that was a good pick by far.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna drop that far back. What you think about that first pick, Jet?
Yeah, I didn't think it was Derrick Henry was gonna make him to him. So being that he did, it was a no-brainer to take him.
Yeah, I don't think you could pass up on that production, even if he's not catching the balls out the backfield. The fact that they're giving him the ball, that's gonna help out with the inclusion of Julio Jones. You got to start making. You got to make a decision on who you want to stop over there. So it's gonna be interesting to see what goes on there. Jet, I'm gonna come to you. What do you think's the brightest spot on this team?
The brightest spot, I mean, but I stay in the obvious of Patrick Mahomes and Derrick Henry. Um, Being that I'm a gay, I might be a little biased, but I do think Kyle Pitts could be a really good pick. I think that
Yeah,
he can produce as a receiver too in the offense of where Matt Ryan likes to throw it around, likes to spread it around as well. And I think being that the receiver two spot is kind of in void with the Gage and the Zacchaeus. I think that's his. I can't
yeah,
remember.
I know what you're talking about.
But I think Pitts is a really good bright spot, and you should look forward to seeing what that young kid can do.
He definitely went out on a limb and took the rookie. Coach
Mhm.
Washington, we're gonna come to you. Ink Spot, I'm sorry, we're gonna come to you. And who do you think may not be such a bright spot? What's the dim spot on this roster if you had to find one?
I would look at the two Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not a fan of Joe Mixon already. Everybody knows why, I think. And to have two players in a not so good offense, I mean, it could be a plus because they're playing from behind all the way, but when it stinks, it stinks.
And Joe Mixon's been one of those guys who there's been a lot of promise that just hadn't come to fruition all the way. And he had some good games, he's had some bright spots, but it just hadn't turned over. So we'll see. I think he got all the talent in the world. It
Yeah,
just
but
it just gotta come to the.
if it don't come to fruition, that's a dad.
I like the Jonathan Taylor pick, man. I think that he might get something out of that. I think that guy's gonna be a good football player. So we'll see. Hopefully, he's gonna fight to try to get back in the playoffs again. I think that may have been either his first or second playoff appearance. So, looking to see, if Cardinal Lumber show up again. It is always a hard fought game. He shows up to play. So we'll see what the team does. He got some solid spots, man. Derrick Henry, Patrick Mahomes. That's a bunch of points right there. Could be a whole lot of points. Um,
Oh yeah,
so that
gotta
was the. Go
worry
ahead.
about him from week to week. You gotta look at him from week to week, definitely.
Yeah, it's going. to I don't think it's going to be an easy win for sure. Not with those two players, and especially we get late in the season. Derrick Henry start running the ball even more, so that's going to be an interesting one. Can't wait to see that team in action. Um, is he a division guy?
No, other way.
No,
Other division. All right, so I only get to see him once a year. Well, that's cool. I
that's
know
just
what we got on the line every time we play, so I'm excited to see it. One of my money games, so we excited about that. Coming in with the seventh pick would be
Get a
get a
T
TO baby, get a TO baby.
get a
get a
T O
TO
baby.
baby.
So we'll talk about get a TO baby real quick. A big disappointment last year. Big disappointment last year, especially after coming off of trying to defend the championship. It didn't turn out so well. So I'll let y'all guys kind of take over the dictating of this team here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was already thinking with your first pick you would take Kels. You kind of in love with the Kansas City connection. So we expected that from you.
Yeah, I don't think that was always out there. And y'all know how I feel about tight ends too. I've always been big on tight ends early. So.
Yeah. I think for the most part the consensus had you penciled in for Kels. We knew you liked Cam Newton White, like you call him as well. But going into the draft, our sources were telling us you probably wouldn't be able to get the connection back, but some way, somehow, you managed to pull that connection off with Josh Allen and Diggs, which is going to be a formidable connection that I think is going to be a really, really good thing for you to go along with Kels. Cal, what you think about
Stop.
Allen Robinson?
I will say this. Josh Allen was my surprise pick because I usually don't take quarterbacks that high. But like you said earlier, I wanted to get the band back together, man. And honestly, if Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have got picked before the very pick before that one, that's who I was taking. I was about to take Patrick Mahomes.
With Kels, so yeah.
When he disappeared, I just figured I might jump out on a limb. Y'all go on to talk about where we slim at. Let me share the screen again.
I don't know if Cal can hear. I think his mic muted. For me, I think it's more of the running back situation.
Yes, indeed.
I like Damien Harris. I think he's the best back over there. I think that's clear. But with the Patriots offense, it's just something in me you just never know. You never know what they want to do.
Will they give him the ball?
Right.
Will they give him the ball?
Exactly.
And Miles Sanders is a good player. I've seen him go for 70, and I've seen him just, have 16 carries for 50 yards too. So I think
question mark.
I think Jalen Hurts helps out Miles Sanders though. I think he has a decent year. Maybe not RB1 material, but I think definitely a pretty good RB2. So turning Sanders and Harris into pretty good RB2s with that connection and Kels, you might not need a RB1,
That was the thought process for sure, but it might come back to bite me, man. It might come back to bite me. But I'm also one Nick Chubb injury away from being kind of supercharged a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's where I was. The running backs, bro. Running backs. And this is the first year I really prioritized wide receivers. So that's why I'm hurting at running back. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. New offensive coordinator this year. So we're gonna sling the ball around. So
I like it.
we'll see. I'm hurting that running back. We'll see. We'll see. Next up in the draft would have been Coach Calvin Washington with
better known as Ink Spot.
With 307 by Smitty Shop. This is one of the originators of the league, but he's also one of the people that's always changing his name, so it's hard to follow what team he got. But he is originator and he's representing the Murder Terror itself. And he came in with the 8th pick of the draft, and he took Ezekiel Elliott, if I'm right there, right? At the 8th spot.
Yeah, we took Zeke, man. We known as a receiver heavy guy, but as the years pass, I see running backs do special things, and we had to kind of change it up a little bit. If we want different results, that's how we went Zeke, Aaron Jones. I mean,
is this your first time going running back?
Yes, this is my first time ever in the draft going running back. And I'm very excited, by the way.
That's nice. What, Jet, what you think might be a spot where he need to improve a little bit?
I would say probably flex. Being that Claypool's kind of banged up, and I know he's over there licking his chops to see what Callaway do in the actual regular season. I know he's high on those Hoodats. So I think flex is going to fluctuate. I think he have enough players to solve his problem at flex. Is just playing that carousel of who's going to be who when you need him to be who you need him to be.
Mm-hmm. So, when I look at his team, I see solid. I see solid.
For sure.
We strong at running back. Your top two receivers, solid. Tight end, amazing. Quarterback gonna be able to do special things. So at them spots, even before you get to the flex, it's solid. But when you get to the flex, that's when you looking to say, all right, I need these players to play. And he got some players there that has made plays in the past. So it'll be interesting. I had to say my favorite pick on his team, George Kittle. I'm a tight end guy. I think having a tight end makes your team totally different. If you don't have to worry about that position every week, it's like bonus points. And I think, if George Kittle healthy, he gonna make plays, man. He gonna turn nothing into something a bunch. So that's one of my favorite picks. So we'll see what Coach Cal Washington do this year. I think he got a solid team. We just got to see what they perform.
Definitely a team. It's definitely a different from the norm type of team that he's had in the previous, though.
It is. It reminds me of a Coach Olivier coach team on the cool. the way it's kind of built. We almost switched spots in how we pick teams this year. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that works out. So I get to play him twice a year. This it's one of the people I usually don't beat in the regular season. So we'll see. We'll see. I own him in the playoffs, but in the regular season, he got my number. So it's one of the ones that I circle every year.
I got you twice this year too, so it should be interesting.
We'll see, man. The battle for Murder Cherry, man. The battle for Murder Cherry is on. Coming in with the ninth pick of the draft is the newcomer to the league, and that's Coach Kenny Hilliard with Team No Ceilings. And I'm actually excited to see what his team is going to do this year. New individual in the league. He's going to have to get used to the style of play we got in the Murder Cherry. He's going to have to get used to how we manage the waivers and how that thing could get. So what y'all think? I think his first pick was it DeAndre?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes, DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. What y'all think about that?
I love Hop. I'm a Hop fan, so Hop can't do no wrong in my eyes. I feel like if any between 6 on, I feel like Hop is a good pick.
Super value right there. You're right. Super value.
Coming to the draft, I had no type of sources or any type of information about this organization as far as like their tendencies or anything. So he was a real wild card for me. I had no idea what he was thinking. It was interesting to see how the type of strategy that he had. I like the Hopkins pick. Najee is a good pick. We just got to see how good of a pick.
Was that pick number 2? That was pick number 2 for him, Najee Harris?
Yeah.
Looking at his roster, I'm more than sure it has to be Najee number 2.
Ooh, that's bold, man. That's bold. But we've seen what running backs will do in that Steelers offense. So that's gonna be interesting. Coach Washington, what you think the brightest spot on this team outside of DeAndre Hopkins? Who do you think the bright spot on this team is?
I like his running backs collectively. When we say we got Gaskins, we got as a flex, which is big. We got Hop. Let me see who else here.
Najee Robinson.
James Robinson, who was the rookie of the year rushing last year. So
and no ETN this year, even though they drafted ETN, no ETN. So we're still gonna see a lot of Robinson.
Yeah, I think his backs is a bright spot for him, and when you got Hopkins to go along with that, it's something to deal with weekly. So We interested to see him, man, to say the least.
Coach, well, Jet, what do you think about where's the spot where some improvement may take place, or who you not so high on that roster?
DeAndre Swift, man, for me. I know he's a really, really good athlete. We liked him when we watched him in college. But I'm not sold on a Detroit Lion running back if your name not Barry Sanders. Like, so anybody else I've seen come after them, man, and they've had spots, have good games here and there, but until I see somebody that's really, really taking hold of that
Consistently.
consistently, they don't do it for me. So that's a spot for me. I would say DeAndre Swift.
I'd have to agree too on that one.
That Lions running back, man, it will it'll have you shaking your head, boy, because you think you got something. And it don't ever come to fruition, man. I've been there before. But it'll be interesting to see what Coach Hilliard does. Excited to have him in the league, bring a little more star power to the league. We're gonna see what this team does, man. You get beat up in this league, you don't come correct. Like make you not want to play no more. So don't be homecoming. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what Coach Hilliard brings to the table. And coming in with the 10th pick of our draft, and this was surprising from just where he was last year and what happened to his team. But it's Coach Carlos Brooks and Easy Money Dynasty, man. And this has been a team in the 4 years of Murder Cherry. The first 3 he didn't miss the playoffs, and I do believe he might have finished top 4 in the first 3 years. So it was quite shocking to see him at the back end of the draft this year. I think he suffered from some big injuries though that really changed the way his team.
He got bit by the injured bug.
So he had the 10th pick. He got the coveted back-to-back, that first round, last pick of the first round, first pick of the second round back-to-back, which could be very valuable and set your team off to do good things. And I do believe he went with Eckler, Barkley, maybe something like that.
Yeah,
or one of those 2 areas. What y'all think about that?
I think that's
both players were injured. Both players were injured last year for a stretch of the season, with Barkley being out all the season pretty much.
Yeah, so I say it's gusty. The average guy wouldn't just make those picks, but I think it's very explosive as well, with all the catches from Eckler and maybe 1 or 2 guys who can stand next to Saquon. He's arguably probably the top talent in the league before the injury.
That's true. What you think about those first 2 picks?
I love it, man. I was high on Eckler last year when I had the combination with Kamara Eckler, but unfortunately injuries cut me short. But I like Eckler in that offense. I think Saquon has a bounce back year, so I think those 2 guys falling to him at 10 and 11 he made the best of it.
Mm-hmm. And you look down the lineup once again. It's a solid team, man. If they come to play, you look at Amari Cooper Kupp. He's gonna get the ball thrown to him. Mm-hmm. Adam Thielen, he's getting older, but if that volume is still there, that's gonna be crucial. And Antonio Gibson.
That Gibson guy has a lot of upside.
Yes. Gibson helped carry a team to the championship last year. They didn't win it, but he helped bring the team to the championship last year. So you see solid, man. But I would think the one spot that he could grow would be at tight end. And that's just because I don't think Gronk gonna be there all year long. He's gonna be there for the Bucs when they need him, but it ain't the Gronk of old. And that's just me. I'm biased at tight end. Y'all know Gronk was one of my, for years, he was a get it to your baby. He was on my team. I just think he's not the Gronk of old. He's gonna make plays. He's gonna score a couple touchdowns. But I think that's one of the spots he may have to grow in throughout the season. But at other spots, man, I think he's gonna be solid.
Yep.
I think he's solid as well. And good luck to him.
That is gonna be an interesting one. So that was our 2021 Murder Cherry Fantasy Football Draft Recap. We went from 1 to 10. Got the the time to talk about each team a little bit, where they gonna shine at, where we think they can improve at. And when you break down the teams, taking yourself out of the equation real quickly, who do you think makes some noise this year? If it wasn't your team, who you think making noise this year?
Eddie was better. He good. He did it again. I don't know how, but he did it again with the combination of McCaffrey, Rush, DK, Jefferson. That's crazy to me.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough out. It's gonna be a tough out. What you think, Cal? Who you think won the draft outside of your team? Because I know everybody loves their team.
Outside of my team, excuse me, I'm a little biased, but I really have to think now. So now that I'm thinking about it, it's three teams that I like, and I think they were built very well. I like Carlos' team, I like Jet team, and I like Lil team.
That's nice, man. I think out of obviously the champ
Not that
always
we
goes.
don't like your team. Not that we don't like
Oh
your
no, no, no,
team. You know.
no, no, no. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I honestly think the champ is a champ for a reason, bro. So
Yeah.
I think he put together a good squad. He knows how to put together a squad. So I want the champ. That's just how I feel. I want the champ. I want the champ.
Same here.
And even though I congratulate him on all the success, I don't want to be the first of three. So I want the champ.
He won't be the first.
I want to take down the champ. So that takes us to our final segment of our first show. And this is one of our classic segments that we like to have. Give me 1 second. Let me get the studio to get our stuff together. How we get it all up there.
Speaking of classic, I just wanted to show you that I still got it.
Oh, we still got the board. You're gonna have to bring that in, man. You're gonna have to be bringing that in as we discuss things.
And you see that right there. The main thing about fantasy and stud new buds, don't leave on the bench.
Don't leave the money on the bench, man. That's wise words from wise men. And that takes us to our final segment of the Murder Cherry Fantasy Football Podcast, known as Allegedly. And that's our segment of Stud Dud My New Bud. And this is a original segment. We created this thing. So this is where we talk about who you should be playing, who you shouldn't be playing, and who is somebody that's just gonna come out of the blue to help your teams win. So this is a segment for everybody. This isn't just Murder Cherry Fantasy Football. This is everybody fantasy football here. So here we go with Stud Dud My New Bud. Coach Washington, why don't you take us? You start us off with Stud Dud My New Bud. Who you want to talk about this week?
All right. Without further ado, I'll start with my studs. I got 3 studs this week, so I'll just get right into it. I think Kyler Murray is going to be a stud this week.
What you like about him?
I like his matchup. I'm not. Let me see exactly who he plays, but Kyler Murray plays Tennessee. Yeah, I feel like that one could be high scoring. It could be, up and down, kind of track meet. I like him in that situation, throwing the ball around, running around. So he's my stud at quarterback. My stud at running back is Austin Eckler. Mm-hmm. And my reason for that is he's playing Washington. I think they're a very solid defense against the run. But I feel like he can catch a lot of passes. So if you have Eckler, fire him up, man. Don't even worry about it. And my last stud would be A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. And we got A.J. We know A.J.'s he's a hell of a talent. And at the same time, they brought Julio over there to take a lot of the
take some of that pressure off him.
Yeah. So we feel like every week, man, start AJ with pride.
Nice, nice. What you got on the dud? Give me a dud out there, Cal.
We got 2 duds. We
Who
got
you
2
got?
duds. My dud at running back is Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
He was on my
I
list of
feel
duds for this week.
I feel like they're playing the Browns, which is a good run defense. I think they just added Jadeveon Clowney with Myles Garrett. I feel like they're better in the box, and I'm not really sold on if Kansas City has found out ways to actually utilize Clyde. So I'm not really starting him with faith if I'm a Clyde Edwards-Helaire owner. And my dud receiver is Julio Jones.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So a lot of people is wondering, wow, Julio, big name. But like I said, from week to week, the coverage, looking at him, and this is a run first team. Henry has to eat. So I think Julio, he really might suffer from this.
Maybe so. Give me one of your new buds, just one of them.
We only have one, and I'll give you that one. My new bud is Deontay Smith from Alabama. Yes, the rookie.
That
He's in a
feeling.
great he's in a great situation. I feel like he could be wide receiver 1 with his talent. So it's just a lot of upside. I really feel like it's really on Jalen Hurts. If he get him the football, so if you don't have Deontay Smith, or if he's on your waiver wire, go get him now. Go get him now.
Gotcha. Jet, what you looking at for your stud?
Well, my stud this week is none other than that boy, that man Dalvin Cook. Unfortunately, I'm playing against him week 1. So, but I mean, if you got Dalvin Cook in your lineup, then he should always be in your lineup unless he hurt. Like he's never taken.
You never take him out, regardless of who you playing.
He's playing Cincinnati, so I think that's a very, very favorable matchup. Look at him have over 100 yards and a touchdown for sure.
Nice. Who you got for your dud, man? Who we should stay away from this week?
Don't be mad at me, my guy, but I got Allen Robinson as my dud.
Shockingly, that's my dud too. That is my dud.
The Ramsey thing ain't a good look for him with Andy Dalton as well. I don't like that combination. You know, you got Andy Dalton passing to you, and you got Ramsey on you. I don't like that pick.
Right. That's my dud.
When the 1-4, they could probably put in Fields, and that's when Allen Robinson production probably pick up. I think.
Gotcha. Who you got for your new bud?
My new bud, I did it a little different. So I went with a rookie, being that they're new. My new bud. So I think Najee Harris will have a breakout year this year. Not only this year, but this week as well. I think Buffalo defense is solid, but I don't think they're. But those are more cover guys.
Exactly.
And I think Najee Harris could have a really, really good game. He does catch the ball well out of the backfield. So that's my new bud.
Nice. So I'm coming up and closing this segment out. My stud for the week is one of my favorites, and that's George Kittle. I think you play anybody who's playing against Detroit in the first place. And I think Kittle is about to have his bounce back season, man. He's a good football player, was hurt last year. He don't get a ton of touches, but he's one of them players who makes a lot out of the touches he gets. So I think George Kittle is going to be a stud this week. My dud, to kind of come back to what Jet was saying, my dud's going to be Allen Robinson. He's on my team, but hey, that's what it is this week. You facing Jalen Ramsey. Quarterback situation, and you on the road. So this week, you just, lower the expectations a little bit. But he's going to be a guy that I would have to start on a weekly basis. And then my new bud, and I might be a little biased on this one too, but I think he's not a new player.
See,
I think we lost connection.
Yeah, we did. So I was telling him, all right, we gonna get out. You can stop it
It's
after
still
he
recording
did
though.
his.
It's still recording, so we'll wrap up the last little part.
No, you go ahead. Yeah.
My new bud is, and even though he's not new, Russell Gage, man, I think he's gonna have a good season. I think it's gonna start this week. He kind of like got a double upgrade. The fact that Julio is out of there, that takes away a bunch of catches that you weren't, attempts or pass attempts towards your direction that you wasn't getting. But you're also moving into the number 2 spot. So you're gonna not get the coverage that Calvin Ridley is getting. So I think he benefits from both of those. So we'll see. I hope it works out for him. But that is the first episode of allegedly the return of the Murder Chair Fantasy Football podcast. And we're gonna continue to do this each week, bringing it to you. And once again, this isn't just about Murder Chair. This is about fantasy football. And like we said, Murder Chair, we live fantasy football. This is the best time of the year. It's like Christmas.
Go get Deontay Smith.
That's how you feel?
Deontay Smith.
If y'all done out because of that, blame it on Ink Spot. Don't blame it on nobody else. But we'll see y'all again with another
Blame it
episode this
on
week.
Ink Spot.
Bro. We'll see y'all again with another episode this week as we get the game of the week interviews from the coaches. We bringing that back to y'all. We're gonna keep that live, and it ain't gonna be in the weekly no more. It's gonna be here on Allegedly. We'll have those conversations with those head coaches. So see y'all in a couple of hours, actually, not a couple of weeks. We'll be back. We out.
We out, man. From the 307.
Murder Chair Fantasy Football, man. We live it.